There it is. So Perkins, Fairview Lanes, and Huron here by 2:54 or so the next 20 minutes as this storm continues to move in. You're probably hearing the thunder, maybe seeing a lot of lightning out that way. Very heavy torrential rainfall coming down with this as well. And we do have one of our cameras at Cedar Point, and the rain is just beginning there. And there is a look at the roller coasters, and you can see just how heavy that rain is. So confirmation of heavy rain. And on top of all of this other action that's going on as far as severe weather goes, we also have a flash flood watch that's been issued for the entire area. That does go through tomorrow morning. So just to update you again, we do have a tornado warning that was issued for the northwest corner of Erie County. That does include Sandusky and Huron. This particular storm is moving to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour or so. And again, it is just radar indicated. It is not ground confirmation that we have seen of yet, and we have no damage or anything being reported either. You can see this very small circulation right here. We just got an updated picture. So this is it right there. That would be the area that we're going to keep an eye on as far as the possibility for rotation, the possibility of that tornado. And you guys know this drill. We've been through this many a time together. When we have tornado warnings, that means you need to get into your safety spot. So that's down under the basement steps, down out of that wind flow, or in the most interior place in your home, a closet or a bathroom with no windows and no outside walls. So there's the updated track for you: Sandusky, Fairview Lanes, Huron, Chaska Beach, and Ceylon. That does include, as I mentioned before, Sandusky. It does not include Milan at this point, but it's pretty close. It just crossed over the turnpike and continues to head northeast. We will give you another just a few minutes, but for right now, just keep in mind we do have that single tornado warning that is out in the northwest corner of Erie County. The rest of us under a tornado watch until later this evening. That includes the I-71 corridor west. Cleveland is in that watch. That just means keep an eye on things. And then additionally, we have a flash flood watch that will continue overnight tonight. We'll be back in just a few minutes with another update if warranted.
County here, even potential making its way into the Sandusky area. As I said, you need to take shelter at this point as this heavy duty rain along with spin is going to make its way across even the southern tip of Erie County, potentially hitting the northern portion of Huron as well. So we are online, we are on air. As I said, a tornado warning. Please take shelter for Erie County.
Been like bloodbaths, so really happy to make it through those ones.
And Dino advances to his...
It out until this passes. Hopefully this will pass through very quickly and go offshore, but I have a feeling this is going to hug the shoreline. So Huron, Vermilion, right into Lorain, and Amherst, probably still a good bet to stay in your safety spot as this continues to move to the east. Watch until 7 o'clock tonight. Flash flood watch goes overnight tonight. These are wailing down some big time rain, so just be prepared for that. Don't drive through flooded roadways. You guys know the drill on all of this. So I now will send you back to programming. I'll keep an eye on this and I'll give you an update in what shall we say, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. We'll kind of play it by ear. So we'll be back.
And for Seneca County, let's zoom in. There's Norwalk right now. Let's go ahead and get you the latest info on this warning. The warning expires at 5:30. Notice here, Huron County, and we're talking about the potential for the tornado 7 miles south of Bellevue. So there's Bellevue right there. There potentially that little notch right there. We may be seeing some rotation right along 269, moving east at 65 miles per hour. So this storm is moving very, very quickly. I'm going to go ahead and turn on our velocity product real quick and kind of let you know exactly where we might see a little bit of spin. Yeah, you may have a little right there, south of Bellevue. Let me track this for you here too and get you the latest on who could be impacted. Again, moving very quickly here, 65 miles, and actually we have to move it even quicker than that. So this storm is blowing through very fast. It could be a little rain-wrapped, meaning we might not even see it. Norwalk coming up here in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Wakeman, Oberlin, Elyria, Lafayette close to 6 o'clock. So again, this is the current setup here. We've got a tornado warning in effect until 5:45 for Huron County and also for Seneca County. The danger in Seneca County is going to come up pretty quickly here because notice it's just right there. So this is really for Huron County. There's Bellevue. This potentially is where the tornado is. See that little notch right there south of Bellevue? So we're talking about now traveling towards Norwalk. If you're in Norwalk or anywhere close to Norwalk here along Route 18, you want to get to the lowest portion of your home, put as many walls between you and the storm as possible, get away from the windows. Notice again here, there is the track, again, towards Norwalk, towards Monroeville. Okay, there's the turnpike, just south of the turnpike here on this cell. There's Bellevue, some hail possibly there just west of Bellevue, but right there you see that little notch coming out of the storm. We may have a little bit of a spin up. We've got wind gusts to the south through portions of Richland County, for Ashland County as well. Wind gusts up to 70 miles an hour along this line. So again, there is your track. Beth, if we could just zoom into this area right here, we can get a better idea and maybe talk about some individual communities. There's Sherman. This is 547. This is Route 4 right here. There's 269. And there's Bellevue. So again, we're talking right around here, just near Sherman right now, moving right along 547. There's Weaver's Corners. There's Hunt's Corners. There's the town of Sherman right here. We're in western Huron County. Again, this warning goes until 5:45. What we're going to do here is we're going to send you back to the football game. We're going to continue our coverage over on our Facebook Live page as well as our Cleveland 19 News app and cleveland19news.com. We'll have the latest there. We'll continue to update you on this. We'll break in again if things change. But right now, if you're in Huron County or far eastern Seneca County, you have
watching a couple of other spins, but they're not producing this type of signature on the radar. We had one here and one here, so they're washing out right now. Mansfield, you got a serious straight line wind event coming your way. But again, the tornado warned storm right here moving over Norwalk. We've got straight line winds. Another little indentation right in here moving up toward Mansfield. So you could have just about any type of weather, tornadic or straight line winds moving into Mansfield. So right in here, serious winds, 60 to 80 miles per hour moving into Mansfield. Again, these are just off the ground, but they could easily translate down to the surface and produce some wind damage. Right in here, there's a little notch here too, so we'll keep an eye on these areas in case there would be a little spin up moving over toward Ontario, Mansfield, Hanley Village as well. Look at some of those impressive winds, just a couple of 100 feet above ground. There you go. There you go. Here's our little spin here too. Again, that's likely some straight line wind damage. Here's where we're watching another little area of spin moving up toward Fitchville. The main area of spin that we're concerned about is moving up into Norwalk at this time, and that's caused the tornado. Look at, again, these wind speeds just above the surface, 106 miles an hour moving up toward Fitchville, not necessarily at ground level yet. Very easily could. Here's that little hook, remember? So here's the area of concern, moving right up toward Norwalk, just south of Monroeville. Right in here. This is these wind speeds here where they come together right here. That would be the area we're watching. Moving up toward Norwalk. So folks in Norwalk need to be underground right now if they can. Center hallway closet. Basement's good. Under a sturdy table, under the stairwell. Keep the TV turned up. We'll be here for you on air and online. Moving toward Townsend, Wakeman, Clarksfield as well. There's some high straight line winds here perhaps.
Yeah, this is the latest scan that just came in, Mark, and you can see that this intensified from the last one.
This is definitely a mezzo here. This would be the area most likely. Do we still have that on Weather 2? Do we still have that signature right over in here?
Yeah, I'll pull that up for you here in just a sec.
Weather 2, there you are. Again, between Pontiac and Monroeville, and this is likely a little bit further to the east as well. That's Highway 99, and it's sliding this way, right up toward Norwalk. If there is any type of tornado right now being produced by this complex of storms, it is most likely in this area and sliding right up toward downtown Norwalk in Huron County. Monroeville just to your south. Peru just to your north. And I would expect to get a scan, a new scan coming in. But the tornado warning in effect until 5:30 p.m. for Huron County. But we've got severe weather all over the place in the form of damaging straight line winds as well. So this, of course, when you hear tornado, you go, oh, my gosh. But straight line winds can be as strong, especially a weak tornado scenario like this. So your tornado warning, we've trimmed back. Seneca County is out, and extreme western Huron County is out. Again, the cell that we're concerned about is spinning right here. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings until 5:45 p.m. all around the tornado warned storm. Ashland County, Huron's till 5:30, the tornado warning. But severe thunderstorm warnings for Erie, for Lorain, at least the western half, for all of Ashland, all of Richland counties, portions of Crawford County, until between 5:30 and 6 p.m., 5:45-ish is when they expire. And, of course, the red here is a tornado watch until 7 p.m. That does include Greater Cleveland. That does include Medina. It does include Worcester and Holmes County as well, and portions west. That means conditions are right for tornadoes to form when you have a watch. A warning means that tornadoes are likely happening via radar or via spotter. Here is that cell. And again, in this type of scenario with a bow echo and you've got this northern spin, you get the hook on the back side right here. So there's your bow echo producing straight line winds moving into the Mansfield, Ontario area now. Then you've got this little hook right here that is possibly producing a weak tornado as it's moving just south of Monroeville up. Oh, it's now moving over the Norwalk area.
I mean, that's got almost an appendage on it.
That's a nice little, again, that's a little hook. What's that little thing in the back of your throat? A little thingy there. That's what it looks like here. There's your spin. So Norwalk, you're under the gun. You're under the gun right now. Wakeman, you're next. So again, it's moving this way very quickly at about 60 miles per hour. So we're going to stay on here until either the warning is canceled or expires, or until we can tell you the danger is past. But right here, Norwalk, Huron County, that's the bullseye for a potential tornado. We have no confirmation yet that there's one on the ground, but it's a radar indicated, and we've seen this before earlier today. We saw it in Erie County twice. All right, the Castalia area and also Perkins Township. Confirmed damage there. One minor injury, we're told, but we have a crew on their way to Perkins Township.
And actually, Mark, we did just get the video in. We're working on putting it into the system, and we'll get it on air as soon as we can.
As soon as we have video from the damage in Perkins Township from our live crew, we're going to get it on the air. But the problem we have is we got lightning strikes out there. It's going to be hard to get a live truck up and running with lightning in the area, because the live truck's basically this big old tall lightning rod, and you don't want that. It could harm our technical crew. So right here, there's your spin. There's your spin, and that is impressive. It's actually increased. It's actually wrapping farther around. It's like the yin and the yang, folks, right in here. So we've got 5:18 p.m. into Townsend, 5:23 into Wakeman, into Florence, and that's in Lorain County, 5:26. Brighton at 5:29, and Oberlin, Lorain County at 5:35. Boom. So here's Lorain County, Pittsfield, Oberlin, Grafton, Brighton. Here is the spin, and it is increasing because this little hook is now starting to wrap around. See this? Starting to go wrapping around like this. So let's go back to our spin. We'll zoom on in, we'll capture this. It looks to be now just to the south and east of Norwalk. South and east of Norwalk. How about, Janessa, how about weather 2? How are we doing with that? Did we lose that little signature there?
We did lose the signature.
We lost it, which it may just mean that the radar is readjusting here and will put it back on. But again, right in this vicinity is where we would expect to see any type of lowering of the cloud base. We call that a wall cloud, and if there is a funnel that would come out of the wall cloud, and if it does touch the ground, that would be a tornado. But in this scenario that we're currently in, any tornado that would touch down would be relatively weak from here on out. EF0, EF1, we're talking 70, 80, 90, 100 mile an hour winds tops. That's still enough to take down trees, power lines, take some roofs off, take some barns down, garage structures, outdoor sheds. Those could easily come down in this type of scenario. But right there, you can see the wrap around this way, the heavy rain, and the drier, less rain air coming in this way. So there's your spin right here. Norwalk, now it's moved. There you go. There's your spin right there. Impressive, right in here. If we could get a few little streets on there, that would be, there it is. Right here, folks. Tornado warning in Huron County until 5:30. No confirmation yet. And if you have any pictures of damage that you can safely get, drop them on our Facebook or Twitter pages. We'll get them on the air. Safety first. Safety first. All right, some streets. Thank you, Janessa. Near Olena, Scranton Road, Court Road. Right over you right now, moving quickly. Scranton Road there. What's that other road right at the kind of the, just to the right side? See that road coming down. If you are in Huron County near Olena, south and east of Norwalk. Okay, that's a river there. I'm not sure what name of the river is. All right, so Court Road, Scranton Road, there's Heartland Center Road, there's Court Road again. So in those roads there, streets, if you hear your name or if they're in your vicinity, seek shelter immediately. Again, we want to encourage you, center hallway, closet, lowest floor. If you're in an apartment building, again, it's fine to be on the second, third, fourth, fifth floor. Just get away from the outer walls and away from windows. Small room, closet, safe place to be, especially in a scenario like this. If you're wondering where the spin would be, that would be the place. Norwalk, just south and east, right in here. Near Olena, right in here. Right there, folks. And it's going to slide this way. Clarksfield probably just to your north, Wakeman just to your south, and the velocity's impressive. You know, these are meso velocities that are out away from the spin. But the actual spin, right about there, folks. Sliding that way, just slightly north of east. And here we go. We'll give you some more timing now. 5:23 into West Clarksfield, and my watch says 5:19. Remember, the tornado warning goes until 5:30, so we got 11 more minutes. 5:25, it's in Wakeman. 5:31 in Brighton. 5:36, Pittsfield and Wellington. Now it's into Lorain County. Technically, at this time, there is no tornado warning out for Wellington. If this spin continues to show up on radar, they'll likely issue for Lorain County. But at this moment in time, no severe thunderstorm warning, or I'm sorry, no tornado warning for Lorain County. But there are severe thunderstorm warnings out here. And Brian Shaw and Janessa Webb are really keeping an eye on the wind speeds here. Look at that. Now, this is just above ground, 93-mile-an-hour winds just above the surface. Now, if those drop down to the surface, trees, power lines coming down. And this whole squall line, what do we got, Brian?
We've got a video out of Mercer County.
Okay, video out of Mercer County. That's near the Lima area.
So possible tornado damage from that. We're going to show you that here.
Okay, this is from Mercer County in western Ohio.
And
wow.
you see the power lines down, you see trees down. Oh, you see that building, just significant damage there. Is that a Dollar General?
That's a Dollar General. That's EF2, strong EF2.
What we'll do is we'll zoom out and we'll look at that because the Lima area is an area we were talking about for quite a while on our
these are the storms that were in Lima earlier today.
Correct. Not too long ago, in fact. And it was the southern end of that we were talking about potential very damaging winds upwards of 90, 100 miles per hour. But you see a long path there of roof damage, power lines, power poles.
They're just
snapped in half there that we saw that just passed by. On the other side now, it looks like roof damage just got tossed across the street. And that's the first time we're seeing that video along with you guys.
That was just coming in, and we have a crew that is in Erie County, I believe, in where we had some tornado damage reported earlier, just south of Sandusky. And again, here's where we would be concerned about the potential for a tornado, but it is almost out of Huron County. And we've got 8 more minutes of the warning left. It's 5:22 right there. 5:22. So only 8 more minutes, and this storm is already almost out of the county, and they have not issued for Lorain tornado.
Exactly.
Okay.
Potential for Lorain County to get some of that.
So they have not issued a tornado warning as of yet for Lorain. So we may be seeing a weakening of this storm, even though we're still seeing a nice little spin. We've got more video. Okay, Brian Shaw. We've got more video from...
I believe we have the Erie County live pics.
Oh, this is Erie County coming up. This is from earlier today. Oh, okay. We definitely have tree damage here, and that looks like structural.
So this is live right now, Mark. This is our crew in their car there.
Tracker 5.
That looks like a tree just obliterated, just snapped from the ground up.
You can see actually to the right side of your screen that looks like pieces of wood and bark there.
Yeah, definitely wood and bark. I would say this would be the trunk area here. This is a piece of the trunk blown this way. If you also notice this tree here has been stripped. There's nothing on there. A lot of the branches are gone. Again, if you got a swirling wind like this that comes right overhead, it's just going to pick apart and snap everything and blow it in all different directions. And that's definitely, but look, no damage here, Brian, Janessa, no damage here to any of the trees. It's right down the middle here.
This is Ransom Road in Perkins Township.
Perkins Township,
lots of trees down there, lots of power outages there. Obviously very dark because we have our headlights shining in on that spot just to see it since it is nighttime.
Okay, they have backed off on the warning here.
Okay.
For still in the Wakeman area. If we go to weather 2 here.
Okay, they've just got a little sliver of the tornado warning area left. So what I need is to see, okay, look. Okay, we still have the spin, and you can see where the hook is. The hook is right in here, just south of Wakeman. This is the Lorain County line. So this thing is moving so quickly, it is likely moving across the county line right now, and they have not extended the tornado warning.
Right.
So that means they are, at the Weather Service, the National Weather Service at Cleveland Hopkins, they're confident that this is not going to produce a tornado as it moves into Lorain County. So what I'm saying to you is it's pretty doggone safe to sound the all clear as far as tornadoes go, but we still have this squall line, Lorain County, Ashland County, and Richland County, that could easily produce 60, 70, 80 mile an hour winds as it moves through, and it's headed toward Akron and Canton. My hunch is that most every county in the News Channel 5 viewing area will be warned for severe weather during the course of the next 2 hours.
Now, Mark, I wanted to point out here, we showed you the Lima footage of a possible tornado. You see that Boeing segment there. And then this is the storm that moved east for us. And now
that's
is up
the one going through the
Mansfield.
Mansfield area now. Yeah, that's the storm going through Mansfield that produced the tornadoes. In fact, it was producing tornadoes from just to the east of Indianapolis, this cell that's now near Mansfield. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to sound the all clear for the tornado warning. We're going to send you back to regular programming. Is that all right to do, Cliff? Send them back to regular programming now. We're not in the middle of a break where we mess things up. Okay, we're going to send you back to regular programming. Any additional tornado warnings will be on it. Of course, you can go back online, newsnet5.com. We've got a live feed going on there. We'll continue there. But at 6 p.m., which is just about 35 minutes from now, we're going to have we've got wall-to-wall coverage of this stuff, and we'll get you through the storm, folks. So stay with us. We're going to send you back to our regular ABC programs.
To the west of you in the Wakeman and Clarksfield area, and I'm going to put the rotation on here one more time, and I'm starting to see more rotation popping up towards Wellington, Pittsfield, just now to the west of Oberlin. So Wellington, this signature is, this rotation is some moderate rotation here along Route 18 in Wellington. Severe thunderstorm watch until 3. Oops.
ETC. So
Okay, hold on, AJ, you can take that over.
11 o'clock, and we'll give you some details here in a minute, but it's just coming through.
Okay.
Thunderstorm wind damage, Seneca. That's 2 miles southeast of New Rigel, so there is definitely some wind damage out there. A dozen power poles down, several tree limbs, and structure damage.
Right, so that's what I was talking about, the 60 to 70 mile per hour wind. So even if you're not under this tornado warning, you still could possibly have some straight line damaging winds within these storms, and that extends from Erie down to western Lorain, now Ashland County. So Wayne and Holmes County, heads up, Medina, even portions of Lorain, and western Cuyahoga County. You're up next for this line to move through. The tornado warning, we've got about a minute and a half on it, and so we'll see exactly what the National Weather Service wants to do. I want to investigate it one last time here. for you before we go off the air. And like I said, we are going to be on whenever there's a tornado warning. We'll be here. We're on at 6 o'clock. I'll have the very latest for you regarding these storms. And even outside of this system here, everybody's going to get these thunderstorms. They might not necessarily be severe when they hit your area, but I know you're thinking probably in the southeastern communities, I haven't seen rain all day. Well, the actual front itself continues to be pushing through our area, and as long as that front is still moving through, we're still going to get possibly some very strong winds, heavy rain, lightning, and then we're really going to be worried about the flooding concerns. We can have rainfall rates in excess of inch to 2 inches an hour with this. So LaGrange, 540 for you. This little cell is going to be pushing towards your area. Grafton around 544 if the National Weather Service decides to continue with the tornado warning. I'm going to go back to my rotation
I'm sorry.
detection right now. Go ahead, AJ. I'm sorry.
To step on you there. The new severe thunderstorm watch now goes until 10 o'clock, and it's going to cover basically counties east.
Okay, east of 77,
Yes.
severe thunderstorm watch.
Until 10 o'clock tonight.
Until 10 o'clock.
That's what they're thinking.
Okay, I just heard another bell. Did they cancel the...
Tornado possible in Holmes and Wayne County now until 6:15.
So, like I said a little bit earlier, Holmes and Wayne County, you're not under a tornado warning, but you're under a severe thunderstorm warning now until 6:15, and we have winds upwards of 70. What you're showing you right now is rotation, and the weak rotation in colors of dark blue, light blue, and then you get into the moderate rotation where you get into the purples. And I'm seeing a lot of rotation here just now to the south of Pittsfield. So in and around Wellington, in between Brighton and Penfield along Route 18, the intersection of Route 18 and Route 58. So we'll be watching that closely as we continue to, as this line continues to progress its way to the east. And it's moving pretty quick. I do want to put this loop on one more time for you. I believe the tornado warning has expired, so I'm going to give it about a couple more minutes to see if they extend it into Lorain County, but right now we do have a severe thunderstorm warning issued for Erie County. This is mainly eastern Erie County, eastern Huron County, western Lorain County,
Cuyahoga and Lorain now.
Okay, now just issued severe thunderstorm warning. So what the National Weather Service is doing, it's issuing severe thunderstorms along this line. Once this line pushes through your area, I believe the severe threat as far as damaging winds, hail, and tornadoes go will be over with, and then we're going to be more concerned about a flooding threat. We do have a flash flood watch in effect until until noon tomorrow. That was extended until noon tomorrow. So as you can see, the maps are very colorful here. Right now, the latest and severe thunderstorm warning for western Cuyahoga, western or eastern Lake County, Medina, now Wayne and Holmes County, and this goes until 6:15. So thank you so much for joining us, and of course we are going to keep you up to date. Coming up on Fox 8 News at 6 o'clock, I'll have the very latest. No tornado warnings as of right now, but you can expect very gusty winds, damaging winds of 60 to 70 miles per hour as this line moves through, plus lots of frequent lightning and heavy rain, which could produce a localized flooding in your area. So thanks for joining me. Stay tuned for Fox 8 News at 6.
Snow can be deep. Elements can be difficult. And education is key.
We are also streaming live, so you can take your device with you to your safety spot and hunker down. You know, we like to say that. We get everybody to hunker down and wait this one out as this passes through. There's a lot of lightning, there's a lot of thunder, but remember, thunder won't hurt you. It's the wind, and the wind is probably going to kick up. You will hear the wind, and there's the possibility of small tornadoes embedded in this line, and that's really kind of what we're watching for right now. Matt, as the evening unfolds, this is it. This is the main line. This is what we're waiting on. And the rest of the evening now, this sweeps out and we're done.
Yeah, that's it. You got it right, Betsy. It's kind of a one and done from here. Earlier this afternoon, we were talking, perhaps multiple rounds for some communities.
Sorry, we got a new tornado warning that was just issued for Ashland and Wayne counties. There it is. That it includes the city of Ashland, everybody. Hayesville over to Worcester. So now Ashland and Worcester in a tornado warning at this time. We do have the radar indicated tornado. There's a possibility of some hail in this too, but this is going to be a wind event. And remember, this is right in the middle of this whole line. Couple things to note, okay? First of all, very heavy rain coming, so don't think you can go to the window and look outside and see it. You won't. It is windy, okay? This whole section of this complex is rotating, and you can see every now and then when you put this into motion, this whole center section rotating. That is over Ashland and Vermilion right now, and it will continue to move to the east. So Mifflin is in there, as well as the areas around Worcester, even up toward Canaan, too. We'll put a track on this. This is going to continue to move to the east-northeast, and that would include Funk. That's the first time I've seen Funk. I'm going to tell you, I've been here a long time, and that's the first time Funk has come up. Congress, Worcester, Smithville, Milton, and Chippewa. So 555 for Chippewa. Keep in mind, friends, this thing is cooking. It is moving fast. Not only will you get the wind associated with it, and it could be a tornado, but you are going to get very heavy rain too. And so this is what is known as a rain wrap type situation. This is not one that you're going to be able to see. You can't look out the kitchen window or go out to the back deck and watch. It's not safe to do that, number one. Number two, it's not worth it because you're not going to see anything most likely. So Funk, Congress, Worcester, Smithville, Milton, and Chippewa. Anyone in east central Ashland County and probably most of Wayne County should be getting into their safety spots right now. I would have to say the only exception to Wayne County would be the far southeast corner. Down by Salt Creek and Brewster and those areas. So keep that in mind. Just so everyone knows, too, remember, we've got not just the wind, but we have rain. We have a flash flood watch that will continue overnight tonight. We've also had the severe thunderstorm watch extended. Look here. Now it moves all the way up for all of most of northern Ohio. Cuyahoga County is still under a tornado watch that also goes farther west, okay? Once you go east, now the rest of our counties are in a severe thunderstorm watch. And remember, a watch just basically means, hey, the conditions are there, keep an eye on things. That's what we're doing. So we have the severe thunderstorm watch east. That doesn't mean that tornadoes won't happen. It's still a possibility. It's just the conditions for the tornadoes seemingly set up a little bit better in western Ohio. Those were issued earlier. So we're moving that line eastward, and as it moves eastward, it is getting into a slightly less conducive environment, but the wheels are already moving. It's already set in motion, and now it will continue to move east. So heavy rain will possibly cause flash flooding. If you get into a flash flood area, if you are in an area with a flash flood, you will have your phone going berserk. If you're in an area with a tornado warning, your phone will go berserk. It's the cell towers that you're hitting that are in those particular warning areas. So there's also possibility we've had a couple of misfires on that system from time to time. It's going to be inherent with this type of a thing. But, you know, when somebody in like Toledo gets a tornado warning for Youngstown, it happens. Just this is where you need to be weather aware, and you need to keep an eye on this situation to keep you and your family as safe as possible. And Matt is feverishly texting and tweeting and doing all that stuff to keep everybody updated. We're trying to kind of make this continuous and seamless across all of our different platforms. Matt?
Yeah, Betsy, I'm seeing another little area. You know, we're talking about that tornado warned storm. There's another dangerous storm, I think, heading towards Medina.
Yep.
That may not be warned yet. There is some rotation within that.
Agreed.
Just north of the Lodi area, so we're talking just north of 71, heading towards Medina.
That'd be my mom and dad.
There you go, right? Well, anyone in Medina County needs to be in a safe place right now. It's not tornado warned. No indication that there's a tornado with that, but there is some rotation, and if not, there could be some damaging winds. That looks like probably the second most dangerous storm that we're dealing with right now outside of that storm heading towards Worcester.
Yeah, and things have definitely been kind of moving along, and the Weather Service upgraded their radar earlier in the year to a program called SAILS. Basically what it does is it drops the data load faster. And so instead of having to wait 5 to 7 minutes, now we are getting updates every 1 to 3 minutes. And it's way better for us. It allows us to give you the latest information, and it helps in this constantly and very quickly evolving situation. Back down to Ashland and Wayne counties. This is the tornado-warned area that we've been keeping an eye on. There is that signature there that is just west of Worcester. It does include the Congress area and Canaan, as well as East Union, Milton, and Chippewa. The threat is now over for the Ashland area. But it does continue east. So east central Ashland County moving along US 30 and then also 250. Right in those areas, that will continue to move eastbound and move into Wayne County. And then Matt just mentioned earlier, too, that we have some pretty chunky stuff going on up in Medina County. Lot of high wind potential with this. Whether it's spinning or not, it's going to be the potential for damaging wind. And not only that, but we get all these little funky spots that we can pick up on with this radar. There's one right there just south of Lodi. We get into the possibility of this tornado area here in East Ashland County, moving toward the Worcester area right now on US 30. And then also farther south down toward Loudonville, there's a little area that is showing some potential for some spin as well. And that is part and parcel with this larger line that is sweeping across northern Ohio. Very heavy rain has been falling in western Cuyahoga County, northern Lorain County. Friends, it is almost over for you. You're dealing with a lot of wind and rain right now. You have about a half hour more, and then it's out of there. Erie, Huron counties, I think you guys are good to go. I think you have a nice calm evening coming your way with a few showers, but the worst of it is now past you. That'd be Erie and Huron counties. Richland County, you're almost done. I think the southern flank of Richland County is still dealing with some pretty chunky weather, but Mansfield, Ontario, Shelby, those areas, they are now severe free. So severe clear, no severe weather for the rest of the evening for Erie, Huron, and northern Richland counties. However, Lorain and Ashland counties and points east, we still have this potential. If it's not there, it will be soon. Ashland proper, you are now out of the severe weather area, but the severe weather and the possible tornado is now moving into the Worcester area. And do keep in mind, this thing is moving at 65 miles per hour. So this whole line is going to continue to move to the east. We will track into portions of Summit County on this. That's where Wadsworth, well, Wadsworth is Medina County, but also Norton in Summit County, just to kind of give this thing a wide berth. It's kind of silly to get down onto one street and try and pinpoint that closely. It's just not responsible way to do it. We will tell you where roads are that could be impacted, but as far as the full storm, we're going to give it a wide berth and just let it go through the entirety of Wayne County. So basically, if you are in Wayne County right now, especially the central portions of Wayne County along 30 and just north of 30, like up toward Orville and Smithville and Worcester, keep in mind you have some very nasty weather that's coming your way, and you need to be in your safety spot right now. Matt, do you have any updates?
I don't see anything updated. I think there's some strong winds also up near Elyria, so if anyone's watching from there, maybe you can tweet us and let us know what you're seeing. But yeah, some really heavy rain falling in Cleveland right now, but the most dangerous part, again, as you mentioned, is near Medina. There's also some really strong winds heading towards Strongsville. Kind of fittingly with the name there, but we'll continue to keep an eye on those winds. But yeah, the most dangerous part, as we've been talking about, is where that tornado warning is in areas of Wayne County. And that looks to be just over the Worcester area, just north of town as well. As you said, these storms, they're kind of messy. There's no clear signature for exactly where that tight rotation is. Because there's no tight rotation. It's oftentimes very broad. You get these little spin-up eddies, much like you used the analogy earlier, pushing your hand through a stream, and at the top of your hands, you know, you get those little spin-ups in the water. Well, that's exactly the same thing with our air mass. Our air mass is very fluid. You get this strong line breezing east at 65 miles per hour. You tend to get these little spin-ups along the line, and it can last 5-10 minutes or so, but they can be very, very dangerous as they do so.
All right. That sounds good, Matt. Thank you very much. I'm just kind of going through my Twitter feed right now, trying to keep up with various things that people are reporting to us and telling us. A lot of people saying it's very windy. A lot of people saying there's very heavy rain falling, a lot of thunder going on. But remember, we have a small area where there's a tornado warning, but a very large area that's being impacted by significant weather at this hour. That does include western Cuyahoga County. That would be Rocky River, Lakewood, Bay Village, Westlake, down into North Olmsted, Olmsted Township, Olmsted Falls, over toward Middleburg Heights and Berea, right down into Strongsville. North Royalton is likely in that as well. Then going farther south into Ashland and Wayne counties. That we just had the tornado warning updated. So we're going to see this cut down here in just a moment. You'll see this, the western side of this box will go away in just a moment. The National Weather Service reissued the tornado warning for Wayne County, and that will continue here until 6 p.m. At least as of this point, unless they cancel it early. So there we are in Wayne County, and if we kind of track that with this wind that the NextRad radar picks up on, it kind of helps us to pinpoint where the greatest threat is. And basically what the radar does, it's shooting out the energy, it receives the energy back, but a Doppler radar interprets the direction that certain parts, whether it's raindrops or hailstones or twigs or leaves or debris up in the air, up lofted in the air, it interprets the direction that it's going, and that's what's known as a Doppler radar. It picks up on that Doppler shift, and that allows us to pinpoint where we're getting spin. And as far as the spin goes today, it's not been very pronounced. We've had a couple occasions where we've had very pronounced spin. Reds and greens together. You always hear me say that in these kinds of situations. Well, you don't really see a whole lot of red here, but we do know that there is some possible spin that is going on. So Matt is pointing out another interesting little tidbit to me. Speaking of the spin and back and forth, let's go up here off of Cleveland. Now, in downtown Cleveland, we have been getting some rumbles of thunder. We've been getting some rain. We've had consistent rain that's been going on. You can see this very heavy rain that's just sitting offshore and out toward Lakewood. But we go back to the wind, and you can see that we've got quite a few reds and greens going together. Now, this is a little bit different situation up here. We're closer to the radar, number one, and we're seeing the lower levels of the atmosphere. But the possibility that we could have some water spouts going on is very real. Not only that, they could be coming on shore. That would be this indication that we have right here, this one that's sitting just north of downtown, which is an interesting thing because literally it's off our back deck. And then again, we have it going on in other parts as well. That one that is just offshore of downtown right now is the one that is of greatest concern. I don't know if I tell you we won't be able to see anything as far as the different cameras go and whatnot, because I don't think anything shoots out toward the lake that way. But just for the heck of it, we could still pop on and see everything's soaked. Yeah, it's all rain soaked and dark, so that won't help a lot. But that being said, remember a few minutes ago I mentioned to everybody that Erie and Huron counties are in the clear as of right now. That is certainly some good news, but they have had a very rough afternoon. They had tornado warnings earlier. We had a couple tornadoes reported in Sandusky and in Erie counties earlier. And I do want to show everybody, we said it's severe clear. Look, well, let me grab this other picture here. And actually, we do have some social media pictures from out that way too, Vince, if you're in the control room there. So this is from Erie County Scanner Uncensored Facebook page, and they've been posting some updates. This is Margaretta High School football stadium. I believe that is probably where the press box was and whatnot. That has been blown off, seemingly, and is now sitting behind the stadium at this point. There's some stands. Those are bleachers that were flipped. So you can see the other bleacher section there to the background. This is nearby, this is in that same area, and you can see the debris that's fallen, the trees that are down, and then just general upheaval and damage, sidings and soffits ripped and whatnot, and gutters. So it's definitely been interesting. And you can see there that it kind of looks like everything's chewed up. It's not just flumped over, but there's literally branches, not just trees. And that is a sign that that's that possible tornado touchdown that we had before. The Castalia area is one that was pinpointed as having a tornado touchdown. And certainly that is part and parcel with what you're seeing. That's exactly the same thing that you are seeing there. So I'm trying to get up at the same time. Cedar Point has their live cams. They continue to roll them even in the off season. Now that they're closed, that doesn't mean that they let anything go to the wayside and whatnot. And they actually are seeing some clearing out that way. So as soon as those pop in, I'll show you that. But just to remind everybody, we still have a tornado warning that is active in Wayne County at this hour. We have flash flood warnings. Is that a aerial flood warning for Cuyahoga and Lorain County? I can tell you we are hearing rain like crazy on the roof here in the studio. And we have rain fade happening on satellite receivers. We have alarms set up for that. You have the Cedar Point cam. There you see it. So it's just lightly misting. They're on the backside of the rain. Things are looking much better out toward that way. So Cedar Point, safe and sound. That's the good news. But we still have a lot of people in harm's way. Cuyahoga, Lorain, Medina counties under severe thunderstorm warnings. Wayne County is also under severe thunderstorm warning, and then a smaller area embedded in that is under the tornado warning, and Holmes County is also under the severe thunderstorm warning. And you can see that we basically have, now it's a kind of a dissected line. We had a very strong line, a significant bow echo that was moving through western and central Ohio, and now it seems to be breaking up a little bit. That's good news. We like that when things start to break up. It's not as cohesive, but it's definitely still causing a lot of problems, especially for Wayne County, where we continue with that tornado warning. And then we also have a threat for high wind and the possibility of wind damage in Lorain, Cuyahoga, and Medina counties, even without a tornado warning. Remember, straight line winds will cause just as much damage as well. It's just a little bit different type of damage. Rather than chewing things up, it just kind of flumps everything over. But then down into Worcester proper now. This is where we have our tornado threat that is ongoing. So the city of Worcester, you still need to be hunkered down, stay in your safety spot. US 30 east of there. Now we have a tornado warning for Cuyahoga County. All right, game on, everybody. Hang in there. I know this is starting to get closer to home if you're in Cuyahoga County. So we now have a tornado warning that's issued for Cuyahoga County. This is through 6:15. They are saying that this is moving 25 miles per hour. And they're putting it near Cleveland now. This is still radar indicated, and of course the city of Cleveland starts to get very fragmented out this way. I'm going to turn on, if I can real quick, the other radar, and that radar is the FAA radar. Now the reason I'm doing that is going to give us a different angle, number one, but the tornado and the storm itself is basically sitting very close to the airport, and so now you kind of get into this area where you may not see it as well. So if we turn on the other radar, we're kind of getting a little bit of a problem, but look here, there it is, right around Cleveland, the city of Cleveland, and this is that waterspout that we were talking about. This is literally coming right over Channel 3 right now. I'm listening. I don't hear anything as of now, but literally Burke Lakefront Airport sits right here, and we sit right here. So this is right over us at this moment, and is going to continue to move to the east side, just east of downtown Cleveland. I think it also would behoove folks in Bracknell to hunker down. And then I would also go out to East Cleveland, and we're going to put CSU into mode to hunker down. They're probably putting out different alerts to the CSU students at this point. And let me turn on the actual aerial extent of this. There you see it. Right over, it's just east, like literally blocks east of Public Square at Lakeside, out toward East 55th, and then also just over Burke Lakefront Airport. Dead Man's Curve, if you drive 90 and State Route 2, that is Dead Man's Curve, that big nasty curve, and that's coming in. This is going to continue to move to the east. They're saying 25 miles per hour. It's a little bit slower moving than the previous storms that we have been tracking. This will put it into the east side. So East Cleveland, we're going to go out to Cleveland Heights, University Heights, Richmond Heights, Shaker Heights. We're going to keep an eye on you. At this point, I think it stays just north of Shaker Heights, but I think everybody needs to get into their safety spots. This is coming in. It's coming in hot. It's coming in fast. And more likely than not, if this is a water spout that is falling apart as it comes in, that's good news. It should start to break up a little bit, but it had some good juju going with it as it popped up and formed and started to move over downtown Cleveland. So the Heights areas east of downtown, as well as Bracknell, and then once you move down, I think we're out of Parma's way here, but Warrensville Heights, eventually this is going to be out towards you. Solon is a possibility in this if it holds together. Okay, at this point, if it is a water spout, it should break up very quickly, but that doesn't mean it's going to. So anywhere along Euclid and Prospect, out Chester, Carnegie, all these major thoroughfares east of downtown, it's time to get into your safety spots as well. East 55th, those communities out along that way, some of those neighborhoods definitely need to consider getting into their safety spots and staying there for just a few minutes. I'm going to name off a few more of our neighborhoods here and some of these other cities. East Cleveland and Cleveland Heights, Richmond Heights, South Euclid, all in this, as well as some of the neighborhoods like St. Clair Superior neighborhood, Midtown neighborhood, Huff neighborhood, as well as the Central neighborhood and Fairfax, okay? These are some of the Cleveland neighborhoods now that we're talking about in the city of Cleveland that could be impacted by this as it continues to come ashore and move to the southeast. Now, this thing has been hanging out just offshore all day today, and finally we're getting this shoved to the east, and it's pushing these thunderstorms onshore. So not only do we have that possibility of that spin coming in, but look at this rain, unbelievable rain that is coming down. We have aerial flood warnings for Cuyahoga and Lorain counties. This is a type of rain that's going to cause road flooding, like on the highways, especially where drains are plugged. You know what I'm talking about. When you drive on the I-71, 77, 90, any of them, there are problem spots where the drains are plugged. We will have issues as far as that goes with the possibility of ponding of water on the roadways and also some, flooding outside of that. Also, your on and off ramps could be impacted as well. Then down to the south, we don't want to ignore our friends farther south. Medina County, you're dealing with the possibility of some high winds, but as far as any kind of organized or structure rotation, I'm not seeing that as of right now. But we're still seeing some rotation down in Wayne County where we continue to have a severe thunderstorm warning as well as the tornado warning that we were talking about earlier. So just to back it out a little bit and show everybody, Erie, Huron, Richland, and Ashland counties are out of the severe threat. That's the good news. Lorain County, you're almost there. Now we're focused in on Cuyahoga, Medina, Wayne, and Holmes counties. And now we're starting to move east of 77. So now we're going to put high alert onto the east side of Cuyahoga County, Summit County, Stark County. Heads up for you folks, as well as Tuscarawas County, as this whole thing continues to move to the east. And it has been causing some issues. Matt?
All right, Betsy, and just to remind everyone, you are now watching Channel 3 News at 6. We are on air right now, not with news coverage, but with weather coverage because we've got 2 tornado warnings we've been telling you about, one for Cuyahoga County and one for also down in Wayne County. That Wayne County one should expire here in the next couple minutes. Again, we've been looking at some of these areas of rotation, seeing a little weakening on that within the last couple scans, but still a very dangerous storm down there. And Betsy, I think you were on it in terms of this Cuyahoga County storm. It looked like we had a water spout. We actually messaged the Weather Service about it, just asking. Then they issued the warning, and I think it was a water spout over the lake. It does look like some of those winds within that storm have weakened a little bit. We've still got some very strong winds right over MLK Drive, which also floods very, very easily. If you have travel plans on the eastern side of the city, not going to be a good go of it, actually anywhere across the viewing area over the next couple of minutes. But Cleveland Heights down towards Shaker Heights. You need to be on high alert right now. So rotation has weakened a bit, but again, we still have some very strong winds with that storm in addition to some of that flooding. But if that was a waterspout, you're right. Could be.
And
weakening.
Matt, keep in mind, we're talking about the Glenville neighborhood as well as Collinwood is involved in this as well. So think about the surface of the water. It's smooth, relatively speaking. It's not nearly as bumpy as land with buildings and trees and all that stuff. So wind can do whatever it wants to do over the water, and it can very easily and quickly organize. So a waterspout can form relatively easily. When it moves on shore, though, all that wind flow is disrupted by buildings and trees, and so it starts to change the inflow to the funnel. And so what will end up happening is it just kind of breaks apart. It loses its juice, so to speak. And so as it falls apart, it weakens, and then hopefully it dissipates. And that seems to be what's been going on. Matt, if we could kick it over to Weather 3. We were just showing you the winds before, and we had a very distinct red and green. Look how this, look at what happens. You see, there's our red and green right here. This is just a couple minutes ago, 5:43, right? And now it came on shore. When it did, it started to fall apart, and now we just have the threat for some gusty wind that's coming in. This is good news, friends. This is definitely good news, but the threat is not over yet. Okay, we did have the National Weather Service. They reissued that tornado warning because they're still seeing the circulation over the east side of downtown Cleveland and the Near East neighborhoods. You are watching Channel 3 News at 6 here on WKYC. We're continuing our coverage of severe weather moving through northern Ohio at this time. 2 tornado warnings to tell you about if you're just joining us for our 6 o'clock news. We still have a tornado warning that is active for the east side of Cleveland out into Cleveland Heights, as well as portions of East Cleveland and Richmond Heights possibly. This is south of Euclid. And then farther south into Wayne County, we are still seeing signs of rotation right around the Worcester area. This is going to continue to move to the east as well along US 30. We'll give this a nice wide path. I'm going to slow down our trek just a little bit on this because it seems like this storm is slowing down. This line came in hot from the west, about 65 miles per hour. Now we're seeing indications that it has slowed to about 35 or 40 miles per hour. So you start to see things changing in the storm structure a little bit. It's losing some of that punch, but we're still keeping an eye on Orville and Bowman, Chippewa, East Greenville, Lawrence, and Comet. And this, of course, will continue to move to the east, so it's a heads up for the west end of Stark County, as well as southern sections of Summit County as well. Now, that big picture severe thunderstorm warning for Lorain, Medina, and Cuyahoga counties, that's a continuation. There's a couple different kinds of severe thunderstorm warnings. This is kind of a newer thing within the National Weather Service. They try and indicate greatest threats. So, hey, we have a severe thunderstorm warning. Your greatest threat is wind. And then they can notate in there as well if there's a possibility of tornado. And all of the severe thunderstorm warnings that we have seen coming in this afternoon and this evening are noting tornado possible. So it's like an upgrade, a slight upgrade to the severity of that storm. It does not mean the entire area that's highlighted is going to end up getting severe storm winds or severe storm damage. It's just basically showing the area of greatest probability, the area of greatest risk. So the east side of Cleveland, out toward Cleveland Heights, Richmond Heights, as we mentioned before, the south end of Euclid, South Euclid, that is where we have the tornado warning that continues, even though that signature is somewhat falling apart. It's still there. Don't get me wrong, we're still swirling, but it does not look as pronounced as it was before, and this hopefully will continue to fade as it moves out to the east-southeast of, we have a picture off the back deck? Okay. So this is somebody who is standing in our lunchroom, basically, with the doors open, looking out back, all right? The tornado threat for downtown Cleveland, where we are, where Channel 3 is, has passed. It's to the east. We are still getting gusty winds, but you can see the rain, and it is just raining like crazy right now. Matt, if you would, can you pull up the traffic maps?
Sure.
And we'll take a look at traffic coming up in just a minute. Sometimes that really is a helpful thing to see where the heaviest rain is. The traffic will slow down. It corresponds beautifully. So as we kind of move forward now, the tornado warning for The northeast corner of Cuyahoga County continues till 6:15 or so, unless the Weather Service decides to expire that early or cancel it. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued. Remember, we're saying it's coming out in chunks. It's coming out in lines for Summit, Portage, and Stark counties. That will go until 6:45. So now we kind of have most of the central part of our viewing area in a severe thunderstorm warning. The tornado warning for Wayne County, yes, is over, so don't worry about that. We're still hearing about damage that occurred earlier today to the west of us. Here you can see our little icons. We were showing that possibility of tornadoes earlier. We had 2 tornadoes reportedly touch down, one in the Castelia area and Bloomingville. Spotters are reporting damage to homes and power lines near Mason Road in Perkins Township. Mason Road basically goes right through. It runs perpendicular to US 250. And so there was Mason Road West, Mason Road East. We were tracking the rotation right in that area as that was going on. And then farther west into Sandusky County, there's Castalia. You can see the sheriff was reporting that the bedroom was destroyed at a residence off State Route 412, right very close to the Sandusky-Erie County line, and there were a lot of trees down too. We're getting reports of power outages in some locations. We had some high wind reports. There's one here in Kipton, 59-mile-per-hour wind gusts. That's significant. That's severe thunderstorm winds. Wakeman, we had large trees coming down. One came down on a car. So the reports are coming in, and good news, Cleveland, yay, as expected, the tornado warning for Cuyahoga County has been canceled. Okay, so that's that waterspout coming in. Look, it's just completely dissipated. It went from something to nothing real quick, right? Look how that thing just swirled up right here. This is what we're looking at. This is where it started. Note the time, 5:39, and watch what happens. It really starts moving in. It hits, and then it just completely fades away. That is classic waterspout activity. That's the lifespan of a waterspout. They get away from that smooth water, and things start to get disrupted. This is a new threat. This highlighted area right here between North Royalton down into Hinckley, this is some high-speed wind, and we could see this coming down. This would be a straight line wind. I'm not seeing rotation out of this at this moment right now. This would be a straight line wind, possibly a downburst type wind, 70-mile-per-hour winds possible with this. This will continue to move to the east as well. You can see how this just kind of popped up. We've reset a little bit on the radar, but as this continues to move toward Brecksville and Richfield, we could start to have some problems with high wind and bringing down trees, power outages, and the like. That will continue for Broadview Heights, Brecksville, Sagamore Hills, Macedonia, and Boston Heights. That track is through 622 based on a 30-mile-per-hour speed, but of course these winds oftentimes will hit hard and then dissipate. And much like that waterspout did, it just kind of fades away. So we track the threat based on the possibility that that will continue. So that's why that long track all the way out to Boston Heights. But it very likely could fizzle just a little bit. Matt, do you have any of those traffic? Are you seeing any slowdowns anywhere?
Yeah, it looks like, especially in Cuyahoga County proper, we've got not just an accident, but a lot of slow-moving traffic with obviously that heavy rain heading down to Medina County. I mean, we all know that it's going to cause a lot of problems with all this heavy rain, some flooding. So that's an issue there. A couple of the problem spots, Betsy, you highlighted that one with perhaps strong winds down near the Brecksville community. Ashtabula Lakeshore looks like it's taking a pounding right now, some gusty winds from Geneva all the way over towards Kingsville. So that's another area of strong winds. And someone tweeted me asking what's going on with that Wayne County storm. And it does look like the rotation, as you've mentioned, has kind of fizzled out with that, but still some little pockets that we'll continue to keep an eye on just north of Sugar Creek and near the Mount Eaton area, heading towards areas just south of Canton. So we're still keeping an eye very closely on a lot of those storms as well.
Okay, and Vince in the control room, if you could look up and see power outages, if we can get that information for folks. We are getting reports of power outages. Also hearing there is more damage out to the west. There's the power outages right now. That is kind of zoomed in into Cuyahoga County and Medina County. So Valley City is Medina County. That's northern Medina County there. Eaton Estates is actually Lorain County. and then you see Elyria there. So we are seeing quite a few power outages, and as the evening goes on, these kind of flicker and go back and forth. It'll update every few minutes or so, but that is courtesy of First Energy. They kind of keep everybody informed as to where those power outages are. The brighter the colors, typically, the more there are. And where you see those yellow areas, that's that 500 to 5,000 or so. I can't see that well, but numerous customers without power. Also getting more reports of storm damage in Huron County. They were hit hard earlier. The latest update that has come in was northeast of Willard, that's in southwestern Huron County, that they had power lines sheared, 30-foot diameter grain bins and aluminum sheds damaged on State Route 162 west of Steuben. So that's an interesting note there. And those big grain bins, I don't know if they were full or not. Hopefully they weren't full, because that's a lot of money sitting in those bins. But those are targets for high winds, unfortunately. And what you're seeing here is some pictures from out of, what's the Facebook page on this one? It's the Castalia area out to the west into portions of Huron and then over into Sandusky counties. But you can see they had some damage from winds coming through, a lot of tree damage, and then football stadium at Margaretta football stadium was damaged as well. Here you can see a home with a lot of tree damage around it and the branches. That's a telling picture right there. And let me tell you why. You see a big tree down, but it's in pieces. And then you see like big branches down on the roof, and it's just chewed up. It's not one solid piece. If that was straight line wind damage, you would see one tree coming down and landing in one direction. This is chewed up. There's branches all over. The trunk is chewed up as well. It looks like it's a pretty healthy tree, so that would be an indication as well. But I'm pretty sure the National Weather Service is going to be sending storm crews out there if the emergency manager for that county did not already do that, to go do an assessment. We are kind of resetting at this moment, and we do not have any active tornado warnings in northern Ohio. That's a win. But we still have severe thunderstorm warnings: Cuyahoga, Medina, Summit, Portage, Stark, eastern Wayne, eastern Holmes, northern Tuscarawas, and the northern two-thirds of Carroll counties. We have these severe thunderstorm warnings that are going to be continuing for the next 45 minutes or so. They've been updated. They'll kind of be shifting east as well. It's been a very active evening and afternoon. There's a lot that's been going on in the world around us as well. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with another update of your weather and a look at today's headlines.
Medical. Too close to it because power lines were still down, but they rescued the family, no one injured. We spoke to the woman whose trailer was actually overturned, Nancy Stewart, and this is how she describes the moments as the storm approached.
It came so quick, all of a sudden. I kind of jumped out of the recliner thinking, gosh, that's pretty windy. Looked, and it was gray. I mean, I'm telling you, it was gray within a second. I couldn't see anything. Yelled for the kids to get in the basement. Really, by the time we just ran down the stairs to the basement, I kind of looked out, just rang, and it was over.
And that happened before we got here, and when we got here, it was gray as well. You could hardly see anything. The rain was blowing sideways. The wind was incredible, so we experienced a lot of that too. We're right near the high school here in Castalia, Margaretta High School, I believe it is, and the bleachers from the visiting team section, they're right in the middle of the field. So here it looks like they're about to start trying to at least assess some of this and maybe try to clean some of it up. But there are power lines in some of that debris, and the sheriff here in Erie County is warning anyone until all of this goes away to stay home and to certainly be aware of any down power lines that could be down, because there were plenty of them around the county.
That is a great reminder when storms pass through in this capacity. Stay away from those power lines, because it could be a matter of life or death. Don't know which lines are live or not. So, Kevin, that is great advice. Still raining where Kevin is right now, but appears the severe weather is moving out of the area.
Yes, and moving east and fast and not out of our viewing area yet. A team of our meteorologists have been tracking this storm all afternoon. Jen Harcher in the Weather Center and A.J. Colby here in the studio with us with the very latest. A.J.
Hi there, Bill. Hi, Jen. And we have been tracking this stuff. It's been going through the afternoon and this evening. looks like it's trying to wind down, but it's very slowly pushing south and east. We figured it'd be out by about 7 or 8 o'clock of the entire viewing area. It's moved away from Cleveland, but not before at one point tornado warning for the northeastern part of Cuyahoga County earlier this evening, just before 6. And now the latest is showing a tornado watch box still in effect for parts of southwest Ohio. The northeastern flank of that watch has been erased. Excellent news. Off to the east, this is a severe thunderstorm watch box, which looks like the eastern or the western edge of that has been chewed off. So that's definitely good news. It's progressing quickly from west to east, as Jen has been telling you. That severe thunderstorm watch box does go until 10 o'clock this evening. Hopefully it will be canceled earlier than that, but does include Ashtabula, Trumbull, also down into southeastern Summit, Portage counties, Stark County, all included in the watch. Not a tornado watch, so that's a step down for sure in terms of severity. Here's a look at Storm Fox, the very latest, showing the strongest echoes moving through Ashtabula County, down around Orwell, moving east into Andover and Pierpont, and stretching up toward perhaps Conneaut and western Erie County. There's a tornado warning for Erie County, as Jen pointed out moments ago. Also, a pretty decent line of thunderstorms, it looks like, or a segment of thunderstorms there, south and east of Canton. So you folks are seeing a pretty decent thunderstorm go through there, and obviously there is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Tuscarawas County. Moving right along, we'll show you how the storms evolved and pressed eastward as they came through downtown Cleveland. You might even be able to see some of the twist involved. Isn't that amazing? Radar showing that signature there. A lot of cloud-to-ground lightning strikes as well. The lightning appears to be taming west of where the strongest echoes are right now. But the extreme eastern part of the Fox 8 viewing area, including Ashtabula, Trumbull, you folks still seeing severe thunderstorm warnings, at least here in the short term. But here's the setup in terms of what we have for watches and warnings. Most of the action, as we said, east of Cleveland as of this point. Estimated rainfall, according to Doppler radar, some of this can be influenced by hail action, but a pretty good guesstimate here between, it looks like, Fremont and Harris here out west of Sandusky. 5 inches of rain, and boy did that come down fast. Also right along the shoreline, 2 to 3 inches of rainfall. This is looking up toward Kingsville and Conneaut, and certainly an appendage here that probably has 2-3 inches of rain. You've been hearing reports of flooding issues even across Cuyahoga County. So the rainfall is going to trail off. We could have used this back in July or August when it was so incredibly dry, but the other issue, of course, is all the runoff that happens, and that's why you would see flash flooding in this current situation. So I think by the time all is said and done, we will have a swath in here of 3 to 4 inch rains. That's going to be very impressive. The line goes through here tonight. We are starting to see quite a bit of improvement after midnight tonight toward the morning rush hour tomorrow morning. A smattering of light rain showers. You may need to grab your umbrella, at least for the first part of the day. And I think by Election Day on Tuesday, it'll be a cool day. Winds will cruise in out of the north, but it looks precip free as of right now for the most part. So we're clearing it out for Election Day in fine order. We can actually see that high pressure system here starting to build in and whittle away at the cloud cover. We'll have another check of things, but I think as the next hour or so rolls around, Bill and Jen, we're headed in the right direction. Things are looking up.
That's definitely good news. AJ, thank you for that great coverage. And stay with Fox 8 News for the very latest on this dangerous line of severe storms. We just received word that the severe thunderstorm warnings in Portage and Stark County have expired. Again, severe thunderstorm warnings in Portage and Stark County have expired. Parts of Ashtabula and Trumbull counties, however, are still under a severe thunderstorm warning right now.
And we are getting reports of widespread power outages across our viewing area, plus significant flooding along the I-90 corridor in the Euclid area between East 200 and East 222nd Streets. We are covering it all for you tonight. Stay with us. We'll have the latest from Jen and AJ in a moment.
But for now, let's go to commercial break.